Welcome to United Home, your ultimate destination for the latest transfer news, match updates, and exclusive inside training content. If you love staying ahead of the game, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a moment. Manchester United to be handed transfer boost as club face being kicked out of Europe. Manchester United will be keeping a close eye on the situation at Lyon amid transfer interest in Afonso Moreira. Manchester United could be handed a boost to their hopes of signing Afonso Moreira with his current club Lyon, facing the possibility of being kicked out of European competitions. United have been linked with an interest in the winger ahead of the summer transfer window. Reports say the club are preparing a bid for the 21-year-old who came through Sporting CP's ranks, while ex-United boss Ruben Amorim was manager. Moreira moved to Lyon last summer and has impressed with his performances. His 4 goals and 8 assists in League One so far this season mean that Lyon are in 4th place in the table, which would see them qualify for Champions League football. A win in their final league game of the season would see Lyon secure a place in the Champions League qualifiers and maybe even the league phase. If not, they are guaranteed a spot in at least the UEFA Conference League. However, the Telegraph report that the club are facing possible expulsion from UEFA competitions next season. There are concerns that the French club have not complied with the terms of a settlement agreement with UEFA reached last summer. It was announced that Lyon, along with Chelsea and Aston Villa, had been sanctioned for breaking financial stability regulations. The clubs were given certain conditions to comply with over the next 4 years, including that the owners had to inject €60 million, £51.9 million, and convert it to equity by October. It's reported that Lyon has not met the condition. While UEFA are said to be reluctant to throw clubs out of competitions, they could be forced to do so if Lyon are not close to the target. Should they be expelled from the competition, they could be forced to sell players to make up for the financial blow that would entail. Having Champions League football to offer could put United in the driving seat for Moreira should they decide to make a move. Ederson transfer message received as summer wish list becomes clear. Manchester United have been linked with several players ahead of the summer transfer window. Manchester United are set for a busy transfer window as the club begin preparing for next season. Several new signings are required to help the team combine their domestic ambitions with a Champions League campaign. Michael Carrick's side have had a more relaxed schedule than their rivals this season due to not being in European competition. However, securing a Champions League spot means United will play a minimum of 8 European games next term, while also hoping to challenge at the top end of the Premier League and compete for domestic cups. Casemiro's impending exit means United will target midfielders in the transfer market. Atalanta star Ederson is one of many players linked with a move to Old Trafford. United are reportedly aiming to bring in at least 5 new players as their transfer plans become clear. Atalanta CEO Luca Percassai has stated that the club are yet to receive offers for Ederson. While United have been linked with the Brazilian, Percassi's message makes it clear that no club has formalised their interest ahead of the summer. The 26-year-old has made 40 appearances for the Italian side this term, but is nearing the final 12 months of his deal. While his contract could make Ederson more affordable than other midfield targets, Atalanta's CEO has given an update on the player's situation. Asked about Ederson, Percassi told Tuttomercatoweb, "We have no official offers, only interest from other teams." He continued, "I think it's unlikely that teams will make a move before the end of the season. Interest in our players is normal, but we'll evaluate them at the right time with great serenity and calm." United plan to sign 2 midfielders this summer, but a third could be added if Manuel Ugarte is sold. The Sun reports that the club want to make a minimum of 5 new signings. Nottingham Forest star Elliot Anderson, Brighton's Carlos Baleba, West Ham midfielder Mateus Fernandes, and Crystal Palace's Adam Wharton are among the many names linked with strengthening United in the middle of the pitch. Aurelien Tchouameni could also be an option after his fallout at Real Madrid. The reported transfer plans also include recruiting a new left-back to rival Luke Shaw, as well as a backup striker to Benjamin Sesko. It is also claimed that United want another goalkeeper to provide support for Senna Lamens. Manchester United should copy last summer's transfer plan, just not the one they think. Manchester United are set for a busy summer transfer window, with Champions League football returning to Old Trafford. Manchester United are still searching for the perfect formula as they approach another major summer transfer window. Last summer was arguably the Reds' best in recent memory, as they made 4 major acquisitions that strengthened the team. Matheus Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, Benjamin Sesko and Senna Lamens have all become key players for United. The cynics may suggest that after the disaster of 2024/25, any new addition would be an improvement. But Ineos deserve credit for being calm in the summer and using the funds they had wisely. That business, coupled with the decision to let Ruben Amorim go, has ensured Champions League football returns next season. Nobody believes this United side is the finished product, and with more money available this summer, the Reds are expected to spend well to compete on 4 fronts. This means going after Premier League proven players like Cunha and Mbeumo, knowing there is less risk in these deals. While on paper this may seem wise, it could be difficult to execute. United's key area for improvement is midfield, particularly as Casemiro will leave at the end of the season. A number of high-profile Premier League players are on United's radar. They include Nottingham Forest's Elliot Anderson, Brighton's Carlos Baleba and Crystal Palace's Adam Wharton. However, the trio are all likely to be valued in the £100 million ballpark, which, regardless of Champions League riches, represents a major chunk of the Reds' budget. More affordable options like West Ham's Matheus Fernandes and Wolverhampton Wanderers' João Gomes are also on the long list. But there are question marks as to whether they are ready to fill the substantial hole Casemiro leaves. United should look to copy their transfer plan from last season, but instead of going down the Premier League route, perhaps they should replicate the method that brought Lamens to Old Trafford. He was a relative unknown when he arrived. He cost a mere £18.2 million initially and has been a revelation. At 23, he is well positioned to be United's first-choice goalkeeper for years to come. This was a deal completed because Lamens was already on United's radar. When they chose to pull the plug on Andre Onana, they knew exactly who they wanted to sign. It was a clinical approach to transfer business. That should now be how United sign their Casemiro replacement. If he happens to be in the Premier League already, that is a good start. But if he is signed from abroad and United see him as someone who can add value like Lamens, why not sign him? The lesson from last summer's success was to have a long-term strategy that you can deploy immediately. Finding the next diamond in the rough should be the plan the Reds replicate. Manchester United considering £40 million transfer with one target set to move elsewhere. Manchester United are set to overhaul their midfield options this summer. And there is growing interest in Atalanta's Brazilian international Ederson. Manchester United are weighing up a move for Atalanta's Brazilian international Ederson this summer as part of plans to overhaul their midfield. The 26-year-old is out of contract next summer, and United have been alerted to his availability after talks with Atletico Madrid over a summer transfer broke down. Atletico are now looking to complete a move for Wolves midfielder João Gomes, another player United had been monitoring ahead of what is expected to be a busy window. Gomez's move to the Wanda Metropolitano will clear the way for United to go for Ederson, who will leave Atalanta this summer and could be available for around £40 million given his contract situation. Reports in Italy have suggested personal terms have already been agreed, and although it is understood to be premature at this stage, United do hold a firm interest in the midfielder who has spent the last 4 years with Atalanta and has won 3 caps for Brazil. United plan to sign at least 2 midfielders this summer, and that could be extended to 3 if Manuel Ugarte is sold. While they are targeting an elite-level holding midfielder to replace Casemiro, Old Trafford's recruitment chiefs are aware of the need to add more depth. To do that, they will need to make the figures work, and that is why Ederson is emerging as a realistic target. He has made 178 appearances for Atalanta, but they are set to miss out on European qualification this season. Gomes, 25, is one of several mid-range Premier League midfielders that United had the run rule over, but he is now expected to seal a move from Wolves to Atletico. Nottingham Forest's England international Elliot Anderson has long been United's top midfield target, although they face competition from Manchester City that could drive his price up. They retain a strong interest in Brighton's Carlos Baleba and are ready to try and lure Aurelien Tchouameni to Old Trafford if he is allowed to leave Real Madrid. Manchester United have a clear budget to correct £108 million. Double transfer mistake. Joshua Zirkzee was handed his first start of 2026 on Saturday, but the forward doesn't look a good fit for Man UTD or the Premier League. Manchester United will pay the final instalment owed to Bologna for Joshua Zirkzee this summer, but the forward's time at Old Trafford looks to be coming to an end just as debts are settled. Zirkzee was handed a first start under Michael Carrick at Sunderland on Saturday and did little to convince he had a future at the club. Despite his height and physical presence, he is a lightweight number 9 who looked ill-equipped to thrive in the Premier League at the Stadium of Light. The Netherlands international was an opportunistic signing in 2024 when United were really feeling the pinch financially and needed more competition for Rasmus Højlund, a £72 million acquisition from Atalanta the year before. Zirkzee had a release clause of just over £34 million, €40 million in his Bologna contract, but United opted to pay £36.5 million to spread the fee over 3 years, giving them more cash to play with in that window. There is an argument that is financially prudent, but the bigger concern is what attracted them to Zirkzee in the first place. He had scored 12 goals in his final season in Serie A, spearheading Bologna's surprise qualification for the Champions League, but he was a quirky forward who had thrived in a system that played to his strengths. He had never been prolific and was clearly a technically skilled forward who might do well in a team built around him, but not exactly a line-leading striker ready for the muck and nettles of the Premier League. That was a summer of chaos at United, as Sir Jim Ratcliffe pondered sacking Erik ten Hag, only to take weeks to decide to keep the faith. Omar Barada and Dan Ashworth both started work at the club midway through